everything that you have heard about how to do life, we have finally an example, a healthy example, and not a perfect example, because you know, you guys talked about some real stuff with so much more to uncover throughout the rest of this, that you two have a way so that you don't have to do it alone. And so that's what Thrive in 25 is about. It's a challenge for the entire month. Now here's the cool part. You get to do it behind E's guidance so that he can align you with God. All right, it's essentially biblical principles. You don't have to worry about like, man, I know this the worldly, but what up? No, it's coming from a guy who, you know, has been grounded in the word. Is going to essentially lay out that system for you in that regard. And essentially for people who don't want to be on camera, you ain't even got to be on camera. You could, you know what I'm saying, just plug in, let the kiddos hear it in the morning, however you do it. And for an entire month.
How much?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Free.
It can't be moved.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
No, absolutely free, man. You can plug in with us literally for an entire 30 days for free.
Where do they go?
Thrive2025challenge.com.
Success Podcast, baby.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success Podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Bayesian sensation, Mr. Karl Wesley Phillips.
What's going on, y'all? What it do?
Oh, man, I got Douglas in the building. Clueless. Let me tell you something. Them Clueless hoodies is getting better and better every time, bruh. I love it, man. And then we have two special guests. I would like to say that, you know, this is family, but I would like to say that it took you two people to replace what I was doing for you. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's a compliment.
But by the two of them,
I don't know.
You got one of, you know.
I don't know.
60 seconds.
Right, already. Oh, yeah.
Hey, welcome to the pod.
Count him. Don't take him long.
He let me go and hired two to fill my spot. But we have Moose, as y'all know, been on the pod quite a few times, my brother Mostafa. I don't know, did we have a baby when you were on the pod last time? Or was it right there?
It was right before.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
New baby. And, you know, the younger member of our team, the youngest. He don't act like it.
Is he the youngest?
He don't act like it.
It has to be.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Him and Jada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jada might be I don't know, she may be older, I don't know.
Yeah, also definitely replacing Maul is the most in shape.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Maul?
We got white Maul. White Maul in your building.
Show
Tight
your gun.
T-shirt and everything. You know what I'm saying?
just in a different seat.
Shout out to Maul, man, who is will be joining us soon on a future pod, man. His father, shout out to Papa King, had surgery. He's doing better. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers as we go. But yeah, he'll be back with us soon. So man, we had snow in Atlanta. That was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Was it?
It was.
Okay.
You know,
I wasn't there. I didn't know.
you know what? I'm gonna be real. I never really I'm so Michigan to the heart. Like, even though I've lived in Atlanta for 12 years, something like that, I still call this home. Like, legit, I'll talk to Candace and be like, all right, should we go home this weekend? And like in Atlanta, I'll be talking about, and she feels the same way. And so I never really thought about like having kids who weren't like Michigan born and raised. And so my kids are like obsessed with the snow. And it's like such a different experience because I'm like, man, we were sick of the snow and we were playing and be like, my kids, dog, when I tell you they loaded up, I'm talking about sweet people's like, Dad, snowball fight, sledding. We got the whole joint done, man.
Let it snow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. But we were supposed to have our next level speakers conference. And let me shout out to my team real quick.
And we did have it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We were supposed to have it in person.
Yeah.
And let me shout out to the team. It was crazy, man. Friday came up. We knew the weather was going to be crazy. I was talking to Moose about it. And, you know, all the ideas are flying. Should we postpone it? Should we have it next week? Should we, you know, just do Sunday? Should we do virtual Saturday and in-person Sunday? People calling, yo, my flight's canceled. The Atlanta weather was so crazy. And we ended up, making the call to do virtual, right? And let me tell you something. The team pulled off, and y'all saw it online.
Yeah.
One of the craziest virtual experiences that I have ever seen in my life. I'm talking about the transitions, the music, the audio, the video, the timeliness of it. It hit probably better than it would have in person. And the response that we've been getting back, man, has just been insane. So, I want to shout out to the whole team and everybody here.
Adam used the word earlier, the quick pivot, and I was just like, it deserves an encore.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not just virtual, but how fast they had to make the adjustment.
For sure.
And the way they did it and the attitude that they had.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing a lot of times people don't realize. That's a currency too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like sometimes when you don't have money, but you have a good spirit, you have a positive spirit, it can aid to it. It's like, okay, yeah, we pivot, but people upset, the energy is low, like that could throw it off. But everybody was just like, okay, once we found out, like, Will them hit, like, hey, we're not gonna be able to do it.
Yep.
Everybody was like, let's make the adjustment and do what we got to do. So no resistance. It was like,
we had a phenomenal time. We do have our guests on the pod, and I did want to ask them. Moose just hit a year, I believe, just over a year now. As the president and chief,
COO,
of the company. So I wanted to ask him about that first year, and then also Brandon as E's right hand man these days in terms of the day to day. I would say.
And what's been 2 years?
Yeah, I think
more than that.
Yeah,
okay.
more than that.
Well, I remember Tip was there, but he on the solo.
Yeah. So I want to get let's just see. Let's have an open, honest conversation about how it's been, because the thing I love about our company and our organization is we all this is organic. B and Moose started off as supporters, right? And then just kind of, worked their way into this role. I'll never forget Moose asking me if I believed in him. You know what I'm saying? Moose came up to me at P7D, was like, see, do you believe
in this story?
Yeah.
I can't get away from it.
Bro, he remembers everything.
Excuse me,
A
sir.
comic elephant.
Moose was like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Do you think that I have? Do you think that I have what it takes? I was like, young
Sound
man,
like
I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, young man, you have greatness inside you. And who would have known? You know what I'm saying? 10 years later, he's the captain of the ship.
The animated Karate Kid.
Yeah, exactly. So how's the first year been?
And keep it 1,000.
Let's talk about the highs and the lows and all the in-betweens.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's been a great first year because, quite honestly, many people didn't believe that E was actually going to take his hands off the wheel. It was like, oh yeah, this is just one of them pranks. Yeah. It's gonna fade away. He's gonna come right back and just rip the keys off. Yeah. And quite frankly, he did not interfere.
So that tells you why. That tells you the trust I had, because why I didn't take my hands off all these years. I could do it, but it wasn't the environment to do it.
Understood, man. Understood. So I think that was a big wake up call for everybody. Like, whoa, we're going into a new season.
Sure.
And so that part was exciting, but also there's a lot of responsibility that came with it, man. I don't think a lot of people realize, everyone wants this position of leadership, but boy, do you got responsibilities that come with that.
A lot of moving pieces.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no one that that you rely on when stuff kind of go left. It's you. Mm-hmm. You got to answer the call. You got to make the call, all of that. So I think that was a big piece of it that I realized, like, okay, this is a real deal. So phenomenal year. I think we crushed it on so many levels. We simplified our operation. We cleaned up a ton. Yeah. So we really moved.
So that means when you cleaned that you did the cleaning. I just want to make sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still, even though I let my hands go, I'm still taking the L. Getting some of the cleaning. I'm like, I don't got nothing to do with the cleaning.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, but he called it. So I mean, led us in the right direction. And I think we making some great strides. So looking forward to 25. I think we'll get the people some phenomenal products and experiences all around.
So some phenomenal products. Moose got some tech stuff that he bringing to the table that's going to revolutionize the game. I can't talk about it just yet.
Oh, that's good, because I was going to ask some questions we ain't talked about.
Not yet.
What are we doing?
But Brandon, come on, talk to us, man. What's it like being the hip hop preacher's right hand day to day?
Fast paced.
Yes.
Fast paced.
I would say. Yeah.
It was a good experience for me, though, because I started 5 years ago, right? I didn't become the right
hand for, I guess, about 2 years ago.
I'm sorry, start over from
no, I got this one.
he got
I got
one.
this one.
Yeah.
Like, man, I want this.
Hey,
No,
take
no,
your
no.
hands off the media too, all right? Moose, take your hands off the media. We got this.
There's a reason why I don't take my hands off. Moose is making me look good. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah. But no, I was just saying, like, this was never an industry that I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
Like, this happened so organically. I found ET on YouTube, and then I did a $250 coaching session when I was in college, and he invited me to Sophia's Pancakes at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Gotta take him there.
That's the date to see if it's the real deal.
You know that's the real story. The guru story. Meet me at the beach at 3 a.m.
Brandon did it.
Meet me at Sophia's.
Sophia's. Yeah. So it was never an industry that I wanted to get into. So seeing it from the inside out at the highest level that you can get to in this industry has just been incredible over the last 5 years.
And now you start speaking and doing your thing, and coaching too. You got, kind of bit by the bug, you know what I'm saying, as we like to call it. How has it been from that side of it, just seeing what you thought of him, watching on YouTube and stuff like that, and being inside the operation? What's been like one of the most crazier parts about that?
That he's the same person. Because especially with how many people we meet in the industry with all the different events that we do, you meet a lot of personalities that are there for, like what you talked about this weekend, they're there for the stage. Sure. They're there for the followers or the people. But he's the same way on the phone at 5 o'clock in the morning as he is on stage. I didn't know if I expected that as a college kid who just happened to find him on the internet.
Yeah. And Brandon did go to Michigan. We try not to hold that against him around here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, but if you ever want to go look up B, one of the most incredible things, I think he might be in the Guinness Book of World Records or something. He did a backflip while sitting on his butt. I want you listen, especially for my over 40s. I want y'all to I want you to picture sitting on your butt with your legs straight out in front of you and literally doing a backflip from off your butt.
You didn't use your hands either, right?
No,
it was like
no hands. No hands. Literally
I'm
just
saying,
what is that called? Velocil force. What is it called? No, I'm not.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
it sounds good.
Velociraptor.
That's
Yeah, you felt me.
I knew exactly where you was going.
Yeah.
I saw him doing it as you saw it.
Yeah.
I saw the force. I saw the Velocil force coming as he was coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is one. Hey, literally, I'm serious. It's one of the most incredible things I've ever.
I can still
seen in
do
my
it.
life. Yeah.
Wow.
Can you?
Yeah, I did like 2 weeks ago.
Wow. So I just want to ask a quick question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's the difference between what you thought about that role? What was maybe a revelation, like, man, I wasn't expecting that, good or bad? Like, I wasn't expecting that.
Like how much you really have to push people. You know, I thought that there's an automatic like respect that comes with the title that you just like, oh, you're gonna show up and you just gonna and it's like, oh, it's a walk in the park. It's easy being in that role. And then you realize, no, you know, and we have an incredible team. That's not even to say that, you know, we have any issues in that regard, but I'm just saying that for where we're going, and I remember, I'm telling you, week one, the thing for me is, of course, as an air traffic control, December, I've had my 2024 planned out, you know, like mid-October.
Yeah.
And then December 26th, I remember you two calling like, oh, so we're thinking C's gonna call. I'm like, wow, take that whole plan, strip it away, you know, and I'm like, we gotta start over from scratch. And so walking in, he sent me something. I gotta pull up the text message. He sent me, you know, the paper scratch.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
It was couple numbers on it.
Man, I missed those
Couple numbers on it. And I was like, wow, okay, this is our first target. You know, we have to get X amount of people to do this, and that. And then, of course, all the pieces that go into it, you know, you got to follow up with people because there's an expectation that they may think, okay, this is what it is. But, yeah, you get a bigger goal. So, yeah, I would say definitely how much you got to push people and stay on top of them and follow up and, you know,
how did that change you? Because you didn't think that. Like, so what was that? Was that like ooh, and then I got
well, naturally, I'm not someone who likes to bother.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So like, even Carl, I'm like, I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good. Like,
Carl likes to bother.
Yeah.
So Carl
don't have that problem with you.
Carl is a botherer. Carl was so I'm thinking.
You ain't doing nothing. Yeah. So you gotta I just had to like, you know, get over that. Like, no, you gotta communicate. And honestly, that was probably the big piece too. It's like, oh, this is real communication.
And over communicate, not just communicate.
Yeah, like that idea of, oh, you know, meetings is overrated. It's like, well, how else are we gonna communicate? We're a virtual company.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to meet.
Yeah.
You got to meet and communicate. Yeah. So that was a big part of it.
B?
Man, the biggest thing that I didn't expect was the leverage that you guys have from the brand that you built over the past 20-something years. I probably shouldn't say this. There, like the first month that I was working as your agent, and we got an email come in. It was a gig for $100,000, and like they put in the thing, "What's your budget?" They put $100,000, and for whatever reason, I don't know if I was at an event or what was going on, I couldn't call them, and so I just emailed them back, "Hey, that works. Like 100's great. What's the best name and email for the contract and invoice?" And within 5 minutes, they sent it back. We closed a 6-figure deal without speaking to a human over email. And I stepped back and I thought about that. Because at first I always thought that being somebody's agent was going to be about sales, like Wolf of Wall Street style. Right. Like I got to get on the phone and then we got to go through this whole process. I got to convince you. And that taught me that, yeah, sure, sales is a thing in any company. But what you guys have built is a level of trust and credibility where they already know that the product is phenomenal. They already trust you. And so it made it so much easier on me. I didn't realize it was going to be that impactful.
What would you say is the like percentage, like 50-50 sale versus they already
80% is already done.
That's good.
But we still get on the phone to like walk them through the process.
No, I don't know, but I'm not on that process.
I worked this to get to that point with that 80-20.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It used to be 28. But hey, who's counting?
I don't know what it was.
You know
I could have been at 0. I don't know. We just know what the reality is now. You know, and that's real though, because I had somebody say to me, "What would it take for me to get your, you know, like you can't do a gig, what would it take?" You know, and I'm being real. I don't know. I didn't know how to answer that. And I went to work on it. Like I literally I really started calling our people.
Yeah.
And was like, "Hey, I got this scenario here. Like, I need your help."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What is it, E?" I was like, "Yo, so I can't do it." Yeah. They want because I want to be able to call them and be honest about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was that thing of, "Oh, no, they good. Boom, 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 but they haven't built the brand."
Yeah.
Tell them they need to build a brand, meaning we know what you do, but we don't know who you are. And I was like, that's deep.
And so one, I want to get into a conversation today about team, you know what I mean? And like, you know, this concept that we're going to be teaching on the challenge, right? Because, you know, we always hear like, you can't do business with family. You know, like that business and family do not mix. Friends and business do not mix. And obviously, I think E and I probably have been the greatest example of defying that stereotype in terms of, you know, our relationship. And, you know, now we're hitting this 20-year mark. And man, I was just thinking, you know, I'm a 90s, 2000 hip hop baby, but I was on the plane and I don't know if you saw Jim Jones and Cameron beefing now. And I'm just like, man, like I grew up loving Dipset. You know what I'm saying? Like Dipset was dope to me. And now they fighting about like, I started the pink, you know, furs, and I was the one who came up with the lingo, and you not even from Harlem. And again, I'm not picking them or, you know, picking on them or nothing like that. But obviously Cam and Mace was separated for a while. Now they back. But it's like when you look at the great duos of all times, most of them broke up. Yep. Shaq and Kobe, you know, Dame and Hove and all of these things. And as we talk about, you know, business and friends, I think that's why people say that, right? Like eventually it's gonna combust, right? And so with us and our relationship having this 20 years and God willing another 20 years, you know, I think that when you're starting a small business, it's hard not to do business with friends and family, right? Like, let's be honest, like
that's who closest to you.
I'm just saying. Yeah. So the reason that Karl is not only a friend and in business with us is because Karl was a friend and he was available when we had no money. And I was available when he didn't have any money. So who's going to work with you like that?
Right.
Besides a family or friend. So it's almost like, and so I want you guys to jump in on this, but like, I want to help people who want to build a team because no man is an island. You're not going to be able to do it yourself. You are going to need someone. And unless you got like crazy investors and startup capital where you can be like, all right, here's a $75,000 salary tomorrow. Here's what you do. Here's where you start. You're going to look around and go, well, my brother knows how to do some legal stuff because he took you know what I mean? And then guess what? That grows into what eventually becomes a company. I don't know that we actually, like, in the first 10 years, he formally hired anybody. I'm serious. It was like, oh, like we're digging. Somebody just came like, yo, that's my homie. Get a shovel. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Now that also led us with a lot of people, you know, but at the same time, that's who's available, right? And so I want to go, Moose, against this stereotype of you can't do business with family. You can't do business with friends, and talk to people who are either starting their entrepreneurial journey or in the middle of it and aren't sure how to work with those personality dynamics, and how do we actually blend that together to make that a beautiful
I don't think you can, but I'm gonna.
Oh, well, Organifi. You can't. All right. We'll see you next
for it, Moose. Go for it. Go for it, Moose.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm. Yeah. Go. Well, no. We'll go. Well, you go ahead.
So I heard Magic just did a big thing that went viral. It's like you can't. You know, like if you listen to it off the
Magic
cuff.
Johnson?
Yeah, Magic Johnson. He just did this big. See it. Oh, it went viral. He was like, you can't, don't, like, almost like, don't, to your point.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you can't hire, like, so if you listen to it, just listen to it, you hear you can't hire family. That's what you would hear if you don't have a keen ear. And you're not an owner listening to a phenomenal owner. Mm-hmm. Like Magic is billionaire. He's killing the game. So it's like, I've been listening to him for a few years now on a lot of stuff he was saying. But what I heard Magic say,
finest, shout out,
yeah,
you know
no question. What I heard him say was, you can't hire because they're family or because they're your friends.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
You can't hire somebody because they're your family
distinction.
or your friend. What I heard Magic say was, you have to hire people who are qualified and are experts. So you get a person just because
but again, and I want to challenge that thought though, E, because I wasn't qualified or an expert to work with you.
Yeah, but I wasn't. That's what I like. You were. You did. We didn't know that you were, which is why you stayed and other people didn't.
Correct.
Or can I say this?
But I think it's such a deflating point to say, well, they're not qualified and they ain't this and they ain't that, so I can't. So okay, let me go get my cousin who already making $100,000, who's the only family member who is qualified. No, I don't believe that. But I do believe when I look at you versus everybody else, you had the capacity. I had the character.
And the willingness to be. And I think what happens sometimes when you get family, to his point, it's like I could just do whatever I want to do when I want to do it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't got to come to work because I'm family on time, or I don't have to be responsible because I'm family. And I think for you, you were crazy because we weren't there, but you were responsible. Yeah. You feel me? You weren't like, we could do what we want to do when we want to do it. And I just think, to your point, if you can find family and friends or people you're close to who are also responsible to the vision and not saying it's just going to blow up on his own, I think that's the difference. But I would much rather work with somebody who's family or friends and we can make this thing work than work with somebody who I just got to give a check to. So I agree with you on that.
So I was going to say, so it's, and let's go even finer distinction. What I'm hearing is they're qualified, but not necessarily they are a accountant already.
Yeah.
It's no, you have the values, the character, the work ethic that we can build and grow together. I think like that's how I would define it.
Yeah, because none of us were ready to your point.
Right. Ain't nobody had nothing.
Ready for what you was talking about becoming a household name.
Absolutely not.
And it's funny because as I am a household name, there's a responsibility that comes with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a responsibility that comes with somebody saying, can I take a picture with you and you late for your plane? There's a way to handle that. You own the flight and my man stopping you at first class and he going to the back, but he holler. It's like, you can't just sit there and act like you don't hear my man and you big time. You got to shut the whole plane down and just be like, so I'm not saying I disagree, but I'm saying I get what Magic was saying in terms of that there has to be more than just family and friends. Mm-hmm. There's another layer to it, and I think you had that layer.
Yeah, it's just the conversation happens too late. That's the issue. Like I've always said that you are going to set yourself up for disappointment if you're not communicating expectations ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so because we're family, and I'm hearing like, when you said the thing about Magic, I'm hearing fit versus favor.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we're family, so you're doing me a favor, I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah.
Where, no, I'm going to select based on fit, like proper fit. But aside from that, whether it's a favor or a fit, because you could get an expert, but if you're not communicating expectations, the standard, and really laying out what you want, how you want to function, building them inside of the vision, because I think that's something that you've naturally always done. He's allowed people to see themselves inside of the vision. So it's not like, oh, just come build the ET plane. No, it's like, oh, come take a look at how Karl's plane is actually the ET plane. And so you're like, oh, bet. So building your plane is my plane. When he first got the house in Cali, I thought that was my house. I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know why you haven't been there yet. He's been there a few times.
I felt like that was my house too.
And left this room like he felt like it was ours.
I really did. I'm not even kidding. Like I really, I'm like, whoa, I gotta come back. That's not healthy. But I just think that's the biggest mistake people make, is that they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to sit down and say, all right, let's draw the line of what is family and what is business. So when I make that switch on you, I don't catch you off guard, then you're emotional and hurt. And so now you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it on my own. Well, it's gonna take, heck, 3, 4, 5 times as long to do it on your own because you didn't develop a simple soft skill that is communication, learning how to fight. I love that. One of the marriage jokes I got was like, oh, learn how to fight. I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, that's a good word. But it's the same thing in business or when you're trying to develop people. It's just come together and have those conversations so that you grow together.
And you just don't think to have them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm going to be honest with you. There are people who have held me to the fire because we didn't have a certain conversation that I've never had to have with him. So there's a level of responsibility. There's a level of responsibility you have to have that I assume that everybody has. So there are things that people will say to me, you ain't tell me that. I ain't sell him that.
Right.
We never had that the only conversation we really ever had was don't let money. That was the only covenant we made. Don't let money separate us. But everything else, if I didn't have the conversation with him, he had already pursued it on his own. So like he wasn't coming to me going, it's your responsibility to tell me certain things. It's funny because I have somebody in the company right now that's like, it's hard to have a meeting with you. And I'm like, oh, LDH have one with me every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. So I'm saying, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and say you're wrong, but I can show you LDH, who every single Tuesday at 11 o'clock has a call with me. And it's because he's not overthinking it. He picking up the phone and calling. And he's made it his responsibility to do that every Tuesday. He like, I already know he ain't about having meetings that he don't want to meet. But it's not that he won't talk to you, but he's not going to initiate. And so it's funny to me when people go, man, it's hard to meet with you. I'm like, oh, you might need to call LDH and figure out what his secret to success is, because I'm in Dubai and he's still hitting me. And I told him I was going to Dubai. But for some reason, he feels that there's no way to do certain things if I'm not communicating with E. So I'm going to be responsible for carving out a time, for calling E at that time. And I'm like, oh, I get how you're intimidated. E don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you every Tuesday. And I'm not putting no energy off that I do want to talk to you every Tuesday. But my man is like, I'm taking the responsibility. And I'm saying every Tuesday I meet with my man. So I agree. But I want people to understand the reason why it's hard, because some people make the assumption, and I'm not saying I'm right, but being the oldest child, somehow for me, I'm the person that is not saying my sister is going to eat at it. So I'm like, yo, if I get a plate, my mom's not here, my dad's not here, it's my responsibility. So then I go through life with this filter that you've got to be responsible. And everybody might not have been the first child or experienced the world like I experienced it. Or I don't know how he did it as the middle child. It's still, to me, it's like, whoa, that's different, because most middle children have a different experience in life. He acts like, and I'm not saying this as a diss to anybody, but he acts as if he's the oldest. And it don't mean that Nick don't act like that. I don't know. But he just, for some reason, always goes into a room and goes, how can I, boom, boom, boom. Other people go in the room and ask how they support. So I think what makes us is I'm the oldest. I'm used to, he rolls like that. So I don't have that. So I'm just saying to people, like, you got to figure out though why you don't communicate. And then if you can fix it, you need to. But it's harder to communicate with family and friends
1,000,000%.
in a way that, because it's so much assumed that when you are a stranger, we don't assume nothing. I assume you don't know because I don't know you, and you assume. And so we talk more. Sometimes with family, that gets kind of, and friends, it gets kind of, you know. Yeah.
So I want to get back to what Moose said again, because we teaching, and shout out to everybody who's already in the challenge, and those of you who need to be joining us on the challenge, you need to be in here because we're building. You talked about fit versus favor, and I think that's a dope way to look at it, right? My problem is, and again, and everything we talk about here, y'all know I don't want to do theory. Like, I want to break it down to practicality. Here's the problem with the fit, Moose. Everybody's a fit at the start. You know, everybody ready to run through a wall. Oh, let's do it. They're excited. You know, they come in, they got ideas. The camaraderie's good. The energy's good. It's crazy to me. Like I said, you look at most of the duos that we talked about that broke up. They were the tightest when they were the brokest.
Right.
Before the success actually came.
Yeah.
Right. And the success and the money came, and then they fell out. But I think everybody starts with that energy of like, yo, I got this. Moose is in the process of leading out an incredible venture, right? Everybody come like, yo, it's great. And then as soon as they start to feel aggrieved, or as soon as they start to feel slighted, or their position may not be, and then that's where it starts to come. So as we look at fit versus favor and working with specifically family and friends, what should we be looking at for a fit that's a true fit and not something anybody can put on a face for a minute?
No. I'm just saying, I don't even know if we can answer that up front. I'm sure,
I'm just saying.
In the
We've
process,
had people who came in, I die for y'all.
Yeah.
What? My check late? I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Conditional death. I didn't mean literal death.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
What
Like,
you guys do? I mean, I'm curious. You know, like one of the questions I want to ask you.
No.
No, I'm saying like literally what did y'all do? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure it wasn't always hot from the start.
Yeah, so I think for me and E, there are, don't get me wrong, I always tell E, like, there is a like definite like spiritual anointing on our relationship from the jump. One, in that he's 12 years older than me. Everybody thinks like, oh, see, just humble, he's just working behind the scenes, stuff like that. Like, it was always easier for me to play little brother because I was the little brother. I don't know if another 42-year-old, me and him got together at 22, and I'm like, yo, you sweeter than me. I'm just gonna sit back. I just don't think. I'm just telling you, age, he could be the same human, just my age. The way I was wired at that age in terms of just coming off football and stuff like that would have been like, now we both might go out together, but I'm not just going to be rolling playing Scottie Pippen to you. So there wasn't, like I said, there was an element to that for us that I think was wired in my brain from the jump. E is the guy. And that was okay with me because he was older than me. Right. And he had experienced more and he had all of this. But that, I don't think that was enough to hold me as the two man. Yeah. I said it the other day when we were on the joint. I said, what held me as the two man was the character. Like, I want everybody to understand this. Me being E's two man to this day for 20 years has absolutely nothing to do with him speaking. Like, when I say nothing, no.
He said I'm saying, Brandon's like, hold on, I thought I was a two man.
Yeah. I'm saying,
former.
Physically, reality.
It has nothing to do with the speaking, and it never has. Like that's what draws people in, right?
Yeah.
But it has to be more than that, because if it was about the speaking, then I told you, I'm decent. Like, I think I might have just been like, okay, cool. I learned how to speak. Now I'm going to just go off and get my own contracts, get my own branding, my own moves, and I'm going to be running my own thing over here. What kept me was the belief that I had and the belief that he had, if that makes sense. And so when you think about, like, when we talk about this kind of stuff and we're talking about character and leading with that kind of stuff, people, you know, the famous line, I got to find my CJ. And my famous line back, you ain't no ET.
Right.
And what I mean by that is not, you're not the greatest speaker in the world. I mean, you're not checking in on people like genuinely. You don't care about my family the way E cares about my family. You don't really love my wife and kids like you know what I mean? Like you love them to the extent that I can do something for you. You know, and that's what you see with most people. And I think they get that confused, to your point earlier, Moose, having a vision inside the vision. E never looked at me and Karl like, yo, y'all help me blow up and I'm going to be, no. He told Karl, you're going to be living right across the street from me. See, you're going to have what you want in life. And so there was always this us thing. And to E's point, I never looked at it like, oh, this E's company. While E was the boss, for sure.
Right.
I never looked at
For
it
a
as
small time frame.
Yeah, no. No, I still tell it.
You know what I'm saying? For a small time frame.
While E definitely was the leader, I'll say, is that better?
That's a better word. That's a better word.
Yeah, by age.
While he was definitely the leader, to your point, I never looked at it like, okay, now what? Like, I was always like, hey, let's go. Like, I tell Karl all the time. That's why me and Karl, sometimes I call Karl and cuss him out. Because I'm like, I'm not sure if you got another plan for your kids eating besides this too. So you better, and mostly his dealings with the outside world, right? And that's why when I deal with people the way I deal with them, is because I'm so protective over this. You know, that's why it's a big deal to have you in and like, running stuff, you know what I'm saying? And like really making decisions and trusting you with that kind of stuff because we understood, and it took you years of being around and us seeing your character. We knew you had the skill set. Yeah. There was a character set that both of you had to have in order to come into the inner circle. So going back to the fit versus favor, I want to know, as somebody out there who's listening and like, yo, I got this great idea. I've started this. I started my LLC, but now I need help. How do I find that fit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think to your point, Moose, you really, man, bruh, Nikki, I know her as Nicole Hammond. She just became point du jour. Yeah. But she was on the call yesterday, and she was saying.
That's why I was unfamiliar with that last name.
Right, because she switched her name. Okay, she just got married recently.
Yeah, shout out to
her. Bro, I promise y'all, she said something dope, so dope, and it was like, I could tell it went over everybody's head. You know what I'm saying? It was so simple. You know? And she was like, add value. And, you know, Cat's like, oh, add value. Add value. And I was like, y'all didn't hear what she said. I said, I'm going to tell you why most of you will never blow up. Because, and I just, you know, got a wife that's just like, you know, Didi don't play. Like, Didi going to say what it is.
You're kidding.
Yeah, right. And so.
So we've heard.
So Didi does the layers. So it's like, okay, I'll tell you this. And then once you learn that, then I'm going to tell you the next thing. So 2024, Didi's biggest thing was you're a narcissist. Wow. Like that was her biggest thing. Like, yo, you're a narcissist. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. At first I was like, no, there's some other people like, you know, everybody say Trump is a narcissist. So I was like, no, I can't be. But then when she broke it down, she was like, no, I don't mean what you think I mean. Like, I don't mean you don't love people. Like, I don't mean that. I mean, when you think of something or you start something, you start with self in certain areas. So like, yeah, when it comes to this or this or that, yeah, you love people, but it's like there are times where when I'm saying something to you, you hear how it affects you so much that you're not really hearing, like you don't hear what I'm really saying. So you're trying to defend yourself. You trying to like, no, I'm not saying whatever. I'm saying you're a narcissist. Like your starting point is you, and you need to. And so I was like, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I started teaching it. And so I was telling them, you don't understand what she's saying. She's not saying add value. She's saying overcome being a narcissist. Like overcome coming in the room and talking about what you want to talk about. Right. Overcome starting the conversation with you, or you know what you want. You feel what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. Like, she literally said, hey, when you walk in the room, ask a person, how can I help you? She's like, yo, this is crazy. But as much as you know to do that, still 90% of the people that come to me are coming to me with how I could blow them up. And she was saying, if you literally help somebody and you're serious about helping somebody, you're probably going to get more out of them by helping them than you're going to get out of asking them. And so to your point, one of the things that you can do literally, or one of the things that as a leader you could pay attention to, is how much is a person really looking after you. And listen to me, I'm just being real, y'all. It's not about perfection. I think the majority of people are going to recognize they're narcissists. At some point, they're going to get to the point and go, oh, I see what you're doing. All I'm saying is when you get to that point and you see it's about you and how you could blow up, if you repent and go, oh, I see what I'm doing wrong, let me get back centered to looking out for the team. Look, I'm with Sam Cassell. You know, I'm with the Boston Celtics. I'm with Sam Cassell, and me and Sam talking. And Sam said to me, I said, I've been with Sam for over 25, at least 25 years. Jalen's 29. He was 4
Can we just give it up for the fact that he can just casually be like, I was with the Boston Celtics the other day, and nobody even flinched.
Yeah.
Like we
all
understand.
tapped in like it's right.
We understand we was at Wright State Like, woo!
So
Wright State.
So
he was like, "Where's that at?"
I'm
no idea.
I rock that gear forever. I rock
Shout
that gear
out to
forever.
Wright State.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, bro, we got to giggle Wright State. He was like, Wright State? Where's that? I was like, I don't know.
But
I gotta Google it.
Bro, I literally had like 8 different hats.
Oh, bro.
I remember the hood.
He said, hey, go watch the Wright State TGIM if you want to see how fired up
I don't even know
were.
what their gear was. Nike, Reebok.
We had baseball. Yeah, they sent all kind of stuff. Shout out to Wright State, man. Baby steps.
So I was talking to Sam Cassell, and because I've known him for so long, I was like, yo, be real with me, bro. Like, I ain't here being big time. You don't get the opportunity to be with the most winningest franchise ever. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, what's the difference with being with the Celtics than the other teams you've been with?
Yeah.
Played for it and coached. And he was like, yo, bro, these 2 dudes, Brown, Tatum, he's like, neither one of them got an ego, bro. He said, bro, I'm being real. People tell you that they coachable until you coach them. He like, everybody say they coachable.
Wow.
Until you start coaching them. He said, bruh,
Yeah.
these boys making this amount of money. And it's public how much money they make.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, they don't got no
couple
ego.
$100 million.
Yeah, he said,
maybe
bruh,
300 for Brown now, huh?
I ain't gonna use the word he used, but he was like, bruh, you could go on, you can say this to them, and bruh, they ain't gonna flinch. They gonna be like, give me more. And he was like, that's why they so. And so I just say that to say, when this how you know, Moose, because you don't know. But what you do is everybody get a shot. And when you see people start to be about self, and then you check it, and they continue to be about self, it's like, okay, you got to go. And not on something we want you to go. There are people that, I promise you, we never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But what's happening is because you're about self, you're the person that if we get in the war, you're going to take me, or you're going to take Moose, or you're going to take C, or you're going to take Avery, or you're going to take Jordan, and you're going to let them get shot and killed.
So
you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When the people start shooting, you're going to take them and use them as a shield.
Wow.
And as the shepherd, I can't let you take family and use them as a shield because you're so worried about you and yourself and your image that you're willing to kill somebody else to survive. Wow. So it's just like one of the things I know is like, yo, everybody gonna be tested.
Yeah.
And so when we get to that part, how are you going to respond to, yo, I'm human. When you feel desperate, when you feel like you in a corner, if you're immature, you try to protect yourself. But once you get mature and you realize really the only way to protect myself is to protect the squad, to protect the team. For me, that's one way of knowing, okay, this person is qualified to go to the ends of it.
So to C's point though, E, you actually, and I like where you took it, like from a leadership perspective, I'm literally learning from you now, because what he's saying is that I don't know from the beginning.
I don't.
And I'm willing to go either which way. But there are some checkpoints that give me hints, you know what I'm saying, as to where it could go. And if based on your response to this checkpoint, now I'm in position to make an educated, because I was thinking about your question. I don't think you ever know.
Yeah.
Bro, to your point, like, bro, we all
dealing with people.
You dealing with human beings, bro.
What was Josh, shout out to Hatch, he always say, business is easy,
Business is
people
easy.
are hard.
People are hard.
You know what I'm saying? It's the people. Like, I know what to do.
Yeah.
It's the people. So I want to, did you have something you wanted to throw on that, B? Or
No.
Most?
Well, I'll jump in real quick because I think as a leader, you can influence the way that your people react in a situation like that based on the example that you set. So I think it's like a 2-stage process. You got to have something shiny externally to attract people. Like I've heard you say it before on stage. Like if you were making $20 an hour, you love E, but you'd love him from
You can't do that forever.
Right.
You can't make $20.
Y'all come through on the weekend and kick it with you.
Yeah. And so I remember when I first got linked up with you, the first thing that I said was, it wasn't just you that I saw succeeding. I saw you, C, Karl, Alex. Like there's just this tree of so many different people.
Yeah.
So that got me attracted in the beginning. But when I became more ride or die was when we were at Oakwood that one time. And I don't know if you remember it, those parents came up to you and they'd found their kid's suicide letter. And you pulled up, there's hundreds of people in the hallway, everybody trying to get a picture, autograph. You pulled them into a utility closet with like mops and brooms on the wall. And you sat there and prayed with them, just the 4 of us. And you gave them your personal cell number after that. And I was like, oh, it's the character that you made me a better person in that moment. So that made me want to stick around no matter what. And so that leadership changes the way that we even react in a situation where you're trying.
No, that's deep.
Yeah. I just think we're in such a dog-eat-dog world, that people got their guards up and they come in with these, like, I got to get mine. And so, Karl, maybe you could speak to it from the other side of just being like the person who, if you're not careful, can get used and feel like you're not getting the value. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we've talked about that, and you've had those moments where you feel like, okay, I'm going to come in and be the ultimate team player, and then also finding the gap between that and like, okay, how do I get mine in this offense? It's almost like you come on the team and you're like, yo, I'm down to do whatever. And then you're like, okay, but am I going to shoot ever? You know what I mean? Am I going to get my chance? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. And when I tell you this has been, bro, you talk about growth and discomfort. I'm just being honest, y'all. The last 10 years, growth and discomfort, I would say. And it's, number one, coming in with all green, innocence, like, bro, I'm going to do whatever, and meaning it with all my heart, bro. I'm going to do whatever, like, I'm down. But there's a part of that there's, like, again, and in our early days, we didn't talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? So just truthfully, I had no expectation. Even household name didn't mean anything the way it meant for you. Household name for me didn't mean anything. Was like, we gonna keep grinding. I'm blue collar.
Like, I'm from Barbados. Everybody household name.
Right, everybody household name, bro. It's only 300,000 of us, right? Yeah. So I'm just saying the understanding, even in that communication, meant something different, right? So as I'm going through this, it's cool. I'm grinding, I'm working, but then there's a process of elevation that happened that I never processed. I only saw us grinding and working. And from when we talk about comparison, we talked about this with Adam a while back, but we talked about comparison. Now I'm watching y'all grow and things happening, but yet I'm still here. And let me tell y'all, humanity is humanity. Now I'm looking at y'all like y'all ain't looking out for me. What's happening?
Hey, the funniest thing, I don't remember if it was Moose or somebody. Like, Karl been on the pod for years, the whole nine, and it was a few years back. But anyway, like, after the conference or something, it might be like me, E, and Maul went and ate somewhere. You look up, Karl ain't nowhere to be found. And I think he might have been hanging with, I think it was Nick Rich or somebody. And Nick was like, yo, I had to ask Karl, yo, why the hell you eating dinner with us? It's like, why you not with dinner? I was like, what? And he was like, and I don't know, again, to your point, of how you saw it. It wasn't that you wasn't invited with. Of course, the table is yours. You were with us every day, but you didn't.
You helped build the table.
And I'm saying, and again, and that's what I'm saying. Now I'm at the point when I said growth and discomfort. Like, oh, Karl, you created that. It wasn't them that y'all did. I created that because now I'm looking at the thing that that again, and I'm putting my heart into, and it's like, wait a minute, like, they ain't looking out for me. Again, I'm a human, y'all, so I'm seeing it from my perspective. Absolutely. Like, yo, he traveling, he doing his thing. Seek right there, and it's going, and it's like, where's Karl?
Well, theoretically, he wasn't with me.
Not like that, but I'm just saying. No,
we had a relationship.
No. Hear what I'm saying. I'm seeing it through my filter.
Oh, right.
It ain't had to be.
I wish he would have been on the road. I wish he would have been on the road with
you. It wasn't as glamorous as it looked, bro.
But I'm just saying, I want people to understand for it. When you start seeing it through your filter, bro, you see it make up whatever you want. It's not our filter anymore. And I'm just saying, humanity is real. So what happens is, being an introvert naturally, you got to bring all the pieces into it. I'm not communicating, Moose. Yeah. I'm not saying, hey, fellas, not trying to be funny, but I feel a little left out. Like, what's, again, just that.
Because, and you guys got to understand, to your point, Karl, when we started, we were together every day.
Every single day.
The three of us were together every day,
literally
all day,
every day
for years.
And I thought we were still together because we lived next to each other. And we was hanging out.
Y'all,
but not.
That's why I used to be telling Karl, like, y'all Negroes live next door to each other. I'm in doggone Paris.
Right.
And I'm just being real though. So again, I'm 100% honesty now. We really trying to help people. Like, this is years of me holding this in and feeling that way. Yeah. So now, watch this. I am such a victim is the key word, right? There's nothing that I'm going to do to sabotage this, but at the same time, I'm still looking like, where's the answer for Karl? Yeah. Like, so I'm literally doing two things at once, which it ain't going to work. So I'm the easiest prayer. Both of y'all said this to me, like, yo, anybody trying to get into the circle, you open the door for everybody. But it's me seeing it through my filter as well. Yo, I don't even know if this is for me no more. Like, this is like, yo, they're doing their thing. I ain't connected. And bro, you start thinking
What exactly did you
thoughts.
think I was doing? Because hold on, you know what was crazy? No, I just want to know. Because I'm like,
she was like, I was in Paris getting up, staying up in the middle of the night.
I was in hell. But no, that part. But even then, but you got to think, Karl. Let's be practical, right?
Yeah.
Y'all were together because you were on the road with E when I left. When I left Michigan State and me and Candace went on the road, I saw E less than anybody, and y'all two were doing the Verve stuff. Y'all was staying in penthouses in Vegas.
No, and I'll be honest.
I wasn't in the mix.
I'll be honest, this is a little after that, because we still in grind mode. Nothing was happening yet. So this is, and it's not even, I can't even say that there's a thing that CJ did. Y'all relationship was always so tight. Even though I'm there again, y'all, humanity, like, man, they're so cool. I don't know if I'm that cool. Just comparison. We're back to that again. So I'm just saying the human in me just like was winning at that time and not communicating. Now self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not as close because they're talking all the time. So I'm gonna just ease my way out. Like I don't want to mess the team up, see? So my way of doing that is like, yo, don't cause no chaos. Let things keep going. Keep adding your value. Keep grinding. And the Christian in me is like, God gonna work it out.
Yeah.
And he will. But that means you're gonna have to grow.
Yeah.
He gonna work it out. So it was a process of watching that. And again, making mistakes over and over. But that's why I said, for me, it was so deep to hear you say that, because now I understand from a different perspective. Oh, that's why there was times that he could have cut me. Like, yo, Karl, I ain't trying to be funny. There's some stuff that you're doing that, like, bruh, like, there's real moments of that. But I think you knew who I was way past all of that, even through my errors, even through the human mistakes that I'm making. He was like, oh, no, he is with us. He's down for us. He just sees himself in a different place right now that once he fixes that, it's a wrap. So again, y'all have heard me say this on the podcast before. I'm appreciative of your patience with me because I had to grow through that. And now I see it's like, wait a minute, let's deal with the fact.
Yeah, and Moose, maybe you can talk about the communication styles being so different, because I guess, you know, like when I be, and again, I want, make no bones about it. Like, I'm trying to help y'all out here who are in business and relationships and friends. Like, Karl is family. Like, this is, like, we don't like, we can't separate that, right? And so I like, again, back to the point when we started this conversation, you can't do business with family and friends, right? Like, somebody's wife might be working with them, you might be hearing this. Like, these are going to be your first investors. These are going to be your first business partners. And my goal for you, as we have now hit this 20-year mark, is to figure out how to work. There's not a soul on the planet that E and I would want to win in this environment more than you. Yeah. I would never in my life. But again, if we're not having those conversations, because I don't have those conversations, like I said, people would think like me and E be on the phone and E just be like, yo, C, man, I just love you, bruh. You know, like, you've done such a, I'm not being funny, but here's the thing. How many, and I'm not being facetious.
Thought that's what we were doing.
No. How many times have you picked up the phone and been like, yo, C, thanks. I can probably count on one hand, and guess what?
Well, 1.5.
Okay, 1.5. But look, here go the thing. And they all probably had something to do with Jalen.
Oh, no question.
They didn't even have nothing to do with, what's up, Blake? They didn't even have nothing to do with business.
Right.
Yeah.
But why would you thank somebody for taking care of what's theirs?
All right.
Nobody ever thanked me for making Trey take a bath. Hey, thank you, bruh. Yeah. You made Trey do his homework today. Thank you for that. Yeah. You wouldn't do that because you see it as yours. Yeah. So I always saw it as mine. So I never looked for that from him. So I never put that weight on. But some kind of way we lost you in that you stopped thinking it was yours. And then when you stop thinking it's yours, then you start looking at us to do things to affirm what should be yours. Yep.
Yeah, but that's why I said, and again, I ain't making no excuse for nobody, but that's why I said, you know, it's almost like man, how do you call it? Like, you know, when something comes with the product. So like you might buy something that got batteries and they actually put the batteries with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you still got to put the batteries in there. Yeah. But some toys don't come with the battery that you got to buy.
Oh, you hate that.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, they don't come with it.
Your mom forgot the AAA.
Mom didn't get it.
Now you got to wait till the next day.
You got to wait till the next day because it's closed on Christmas.
Woo!
You feel me? And I just say, because of how I was born and when I was born, I automatically, the batteries came with it. I was born to an 18-year-old who was homeless. You feel me? It was a whole bunch of mom got to handle her business, and to some extent, I got to handle mine.
Yep.
And then I end up having, and listen to me, I was like an only child for about 7 years. Then my sister came. And so it was like, I was, bruh.
Then you left at 16.
And I left at 16, bruh. So you,
good 6 months.
Bruh. Look, I had, before I went to Oakwood, and probably beyond Oakwood, I had to be responsible. Bruh, that's what people be tripping on the homeless boy. Like, it's a lot of lessons in homelessness. Like, you got to figure out how you gonna eat.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, you got to figure out how you gonna brush your teeth, how you gonna take a bath, where you gonna use. Bruh, there's times where I couldn't even use the bathroom. It's not like I got a toilet. So I got to even strategically think, I go to my boy's crib, but how do you blow your boy's bathroom out? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't blow the bathroom out.
It's called a courtesy flush.
You feel me? Oh, no.
Gotcha.
I wish I had that. Oh, yeah, I'm not built like that. So I'm just saying.
What does that mean?
We'll talk about it after. No. This is why Didi Howard tell Brandon
you
we
got to
need
get
2
your
bathrooms.
Yeah.
This is why, right?
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I don't even think those thoughts because my whole life has been you got to take care of yourself. You feel me? And so there are individuals, depending on how they're born, it's like, hey, you can't be that forever. And this is why my son, we got into it because he said it even at the restaurant the other day. It was so crazy. He was like, yeah, my dad threw me to the wolves. So he's talking about when I worked at the schools, they went to the schools that I worked at. Mm-hmm. So he would get into fights with kids and he would think that it was my responsibility to bail him out because he was in. So he was literally pissed at me for years. You know what I'm saying? On some, you let them. And I was like, bruh, between me and you, we should have communicated. Where I come from,
that's called a Tuesday.
Bruh. and a Wednesday and a Thursday. I grew up in Detroit, bruh. We went to school where the boys in our neighborhood, Wayne, Andre, bruh, all of the fellas, like, bruh, they would literally, when we come home from school, would grab us and like, what do you? I forgot what they call Suplex,
full Nelson.
Bro, they put us in the full Nelson, and they would come, and I'm talking about full blown, not in our face, but in our chest. Bro, they would kill us. And we all knew that. They weren't trying to hurt us, but they knew the dude around the block was going to do the same thing. And so they were like, we're preparing y'all for the world. So with my son, he like, why you let them? And I was like, bro, I didn't even know that was a problem. Like where I grew up,
that's
you're supposed to figure out how you
get punched in the face every now and then.
And if I would have jumped in for you, nobody would have ever had no respect for you. Mm-hmm. So I had to let you take the blows so you could get respect on the block and you could learn how to fight. You feel me? And so I think, I don't know how you pulled it off. I really don't as a middle child. But
I'm knocking everybody out.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying, we came in the game like that. So I think that was another reason why we were so close is because, like, bruh, I literally look at some of my staff and I realize, okay, I got to do a better job. But they'll be like, I didn't know. And I was like, yo, how I grew up, if you don't know what's like, if you're not observant, you don't get a second chance on the block. Like, my man shot me and I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Or this person was trying to steal from me and I didn't know. Like, I always had to have my eyes open in my environment and be whatever. So I just look at some staff members and go, well, you didn't tell me. And I was like, yo, that's my bad because where I came from, nobody tells you. Yeah. You have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, it's like a nature versus what's it called? Nature versus
nurture.
Yeah. Because like I've been big on this, and me and Doc actually talked about it on the mastermind, the difference between standards and expectations. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So most times when you get into business with friends and family, there's this expectation that I already know what you're gonna do or what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to know who I am and how there's that expectation. So check this out. It says an expectation is a belief or assumption about what might happen or what you hope others will do. All right? It's often subjective and tied to future outcomes. Okay. Right? There's like a lot of emotions in this, right? It says expectations are external, flexible, influenced by emotions, circumstances, other actions. Yeah. Like it's just a whole bunch of fluff. Like I have no idea what that means.
That could be anything.
That could be anything.
Yep.
Now here's the cool thing about a standard, right? It says a standard is a fixed, non-negotiable benchmark for behavior, performance, or outcome. It is rooted in principles, values, and discipline. right? Like, and again, because it's
That's
uncomfortable, we avoid that. So yeah, there is this like natural thing that some of us have. And, you know, and I probably got to go back and correct my answer for what was the most difficult part of the first year. It's how I preached this idea of stepping into other people's worlds.
Yep.
I now had to do it for a lot of people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, forget the push thing, because the push thing was just a reflection of E's standards being now magnified to me.
Sure.
Or you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, shoot, now I really got to get that from a lot of people, because I can't be the only one to do it. But how I had to step into Karl's world to get the best out of him. And we created something phenomenal for that more in 24, right? My dynamic with you and Brandon and everybody.
Yep.
It was having to step into somebody else's world and rebuild a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's difficult.
And you know what's difficult about that? For me, what's been difficult about that, and I just had to like, my wife was like, yo, you got to grow up. But some kind of way in my childhood, I got caught in this fair thing. I got caught up in this, like, this ain't fair. You know, and it's like, yo, of all that I do for y'all, none of y'all come in my world, but I got to come in your world. And travel and pay $1 million tax bill.
Oh, crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta do all the compromising.
$350 on the payroll.
Bro, I'm just saying. But I'm saying, I gotta do all the compromising.
Yeah.
And so I had to get to a point, and my wife had to walk me through it, like, yo, you're doing a phenomenal work, but that it ain't fair. She's like, yo, I don't know where you got that from. Like, nothing about this world is fair. But bro, I'm telling you, I was stuck on it. Like, yo, I'm not mad at you, but I'm mad that you could talk about me, but you're not helping me what I'm trying to do for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, you talking about me, but you're not even helping me help you. And you don't even know what I'm going through.
Right.
And you don't even care enough to ask me what I'm going through.
Right.
Like, you don't understand the dynamics of my life and how 90% of what I do, I don't even have to do. I could just speak and eat. I'm actually working and paying for people out of my speaking budget. Yeah. And it's like, bro, all I got to do is speak. And I don't never got to worry about, like, you eat however you eat.
Yeah.
Like, this is causing me more problems. This is more of a hassle for me. This is taking me away from my wife and my kids. And you're asking, like, you're complaining about something that I'm doing so that you can survive.
Yeah.
And I'm not tripping on it. I'm just like, why are we not talking? Why are you talking in your head, or why y'all talking to each other?
But there's always that intimidation factor with you.
I was just
right?
gonna say.
But I'm saying,
like,
to me, that's why I was like, it ain't fair, because I didn't create that.
Right.
And to Brandon's point, I don't even act like that.
Right.
Like, I can see if I was
He never
arrogant.
understands who he is. Though.
Yeah, no.
You're right.
His perception of himself is literally like the dude working bagging groceries at Walmart.
Yeah.
No, I told him that. We had a conversation, the other day.
2 days ago.
He called me and was like, I said, yo, like, I know you like to work with the impoverished. You know what I'm saying? You got your Mother Teresa spirit. I was like, yo, but there's some people that are higher level too that need you just as much. And I was like, you know, and so you might want to check in on them. And he was like, bro, you talk to them. They good. And I was like, now from a business and branding, for sure, I got them.
Yeah.
From an interpersonal standpoint, I was like, I don't think you even understand the power that you wield with a phone call, with a text message, like unsolicited, like because of who you are, the feeling that people have, like when you do, he sit on there, and you hit E on the DM at IG, you got a 90% chance of getting something back. But when you sit there and take the 2 seconds to be like, what's up, this is ET, like people hold on to that stuff. Like, again, you can't see it, but other people see it. Like, I see it. I know how the world thinks of you. Yeah. I know how other people look at you. I know how much your energy and emotion and love for them and calling them and being there for them, I know how far it would go. Look at Karl.
Hey, no, I'm laughing because you don't know this, but me and a couple of staff members have a cliche saying, the E effect.
Oh.
Like, somebody talked to E and they call me, bruh, they own everything. They're calling me like, yo, so I just talked to E and I was like, oh my God, the E effect.
Let me tell you something. I asked a staff member blatantly.
Ruin some projects too.
$10,000 bonus. $10,000 bonus.
That's nice.
Or E, say your name in a speech. And they was like, give me that speech all day. I swear. I was like,
100%. Yeah.
But again, so for you, E, not being able to see the world And it's also the charm that you have, right? Like it's the reason everybody loves you because you do move around. Like people still can't believe, like, yo, I saw E walk. I thought it was E, but he was by himself walking through the airport. Couldn't have been him. I'm like, no, that was him.
It really was.
Like, I tell people like, no, that's him. Yeah, that's him on the rental car bus. Yes, it is. No, y'all think
how else am I supposed to get to my point of destination?
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, they black Uber, and I'm like, bro, that costs y'all Ubering everywhere y'all go. They're like $400.
Listen,
the car cost me $76 for 2 days.
It's 100%.
And you overpaid.
Brandon, same dude at 5 a.m.
No, listen. I was so mad, bro. I got my wife with me. I just want to get to the hotel. We got first of all, the first shuttle left us. So I told E, I said, man, we just going to do what you and Diddy do, bro. We all landed on the same flight. You know, it's a family experience. I was like, yo, this joker really got me on the transportation bus to go to the rent-a-car spot to get a Honda Sonata to drive around Houston for Toby and Fat vow renewal. Like, bruh, but again, it's part of the charm. But going back to what I'm saying, like, you have a power in this world that you probably, I know you understand it like when you're on stage and stuff like that, but just from a personal standpoint and a present standpoint, he was like, I was like, well, I get it every day. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ever feel a void like, oh, but I'm like, I also get to talk to you every day, but there's individuals who haven't talked to you in 4 or 5 months who feel like they have a close relationship with you. And if you talk to them, it's in passing, but a unsolicited phone call could go a long way for their confidence. And I know that, trust me, I get it. That's a lot of power. And I would say on a smaller level, obviously, I have some of that. And I think that's why I try not to be so visible because I don't want that responsibility.
Right.
I used to tell even Karl that, like, Karl, don't be wanting things from me because I ain't got it. And I don't even know what you want. And I don't, don't
want from me.
No, listen.
Don't want from me.
Listen. Oh, bro, shout out to the brother I saw in the airport earlier. My man was like, yo, can we take a picture? I was like, shoot, for sure. And by the way, I don't mind taking a picture. It makes me uncomfortable when you nervous. So now we both nervous because my man like, yo, I got to get my phone and real quick. And I done asked my man, what's your name? He can't even remember his name. He was like, I was like, bruh. Now again, I'm a triple Z-list celebrity, but if y'all watch this pod, you know what I'm saying, you probably know who I am. But my man can't even get his stuff. And I'm like, again, that's a lot of power that comes from that. And being able to use that influence in a positive way and, you know, change people's lives with just literally a call or some, like, bro, I told E, now I said, E, you don't even realize it. E come on stage now, and I promise you, I could go for 30 and be going crazy. I know I'm getting bombs off.
Yeah.
E come up there and say one thing, and it ain't even that sweet. They
falling out.
Hey, why is it not that sweet? Because he said it's not sweet. Why is my stuff not deep? His stuff is deep, but my stuff ain't deep.
Deep stuff yet. Just off the E be like, good morning.
Hey, no. You know this, bruh. Like, there'll be a scripture that E about to preach on that. The Bible verse would say, but then. E will be like, but then, and everybody be like, like he ain't saying
it's the context in which I'm saying it. I got a PhD, but then it's saying I know how to use it. You just said but then, but here's why, like I said, just being transparent, I had to overcome it's not fair. Because again, see, like you need to call this person, you just calling the underdogs. Other people need it. I'm like, bro, it's not fair.
By the way, I did say only to the extent that you had a capacity, because I don't need you stressing out either.
Right.
So if it means you can't talk to him, I understand.
Yeah, but my thing was, yo, you telling me don't be on the bus. You telling me not to walk around.
I am telling you that.
It's not, but I'm saying it's not fair for me not to be me.
Right.
Because of how you see me. Right. Like now y'all asking me not to be myself because of how it affects you. And so I got over it, but it was like, Didi, it's just not fair. Like, you're thinking I'm somebody. I never told you. I never walk around like I'm somebody. Like, I don't do that. So the fact that you love the fact that I'm a celebrity, but I don't act like I'm a celebrity, that's still stuff you putting on me. And I'm like, bruh, I just want to get on the bus. I grew up in Detroit. We caught the bus, bruh. We not in New York. That's like telling somebody in New York, don't catch the sub.
Hey, see,
that's how you've been getting around your whole life.
Oh, bro, I promise you. I'm giving a John
We're going to get you a bus. Yeah, we're going to get you a bus for Christmas.
You're going to have to have one in every city because like I
got to put 60,000 pieces of luggage on it and a little handle, and you got to stand like this. for 20 minutes riding to the.
And so what he did was, I'm gonna make you a household name.
Yeah.
What he didn't do was us talk about the expectations of that.
Yeah.
So he did do that for me, but I'm left with the responsibility.
Yeah, I apologize for that all the time.
And again, I'm not upset, but it's just
it's a lot.
I'm eating. And you see
it's
me,
a lot.
And it's like, I know you eating, and I know you with your wife, but so it's like, okay,
but then,
and I gotta stop, and I'm okay with stopping, but it's like if I don't do it if I don't stop the way you want me to stop, if I don't say what you want me to say, now I'm the worst motivational speaker in the world because I didn't respond. So now I have to be like, okay, Didi, for real, I gotta stop this and really lock in. To what you want. I'm seeing you grab your phone, and instead of embarrassing you, I just say, yo, you want to take a picture? Because I know you want to take a picture. So it's a whole
I do notice you ask that all the time.
Because like he said, the nervous part will throw you off. So it's just like, hey, you got your phone on you? Hey, let's take a pic. As a man, you ain't got to feel like, I'm taking a pic with another man. Wow. So big, it's a lot, bro.
I know y'all saw the pic, man, but huge shout out in that regard. I should say this publicly, man. Trae Young. Trey, my son Trey is obviously a huge Trae Young fan. We live in Atlanta. It's the only other team I let him cheer for that's not the Pistons, the Lions, the Red Wings.
Well, you raise him in Atlanta.
But he does love Trae Young. They got the same name. I bought him a jersey when he was young, and his birthday was the other day, and so took him to the Hawks game with a couple of his homies, and they waited afterwards, and I shout out to Will, got it set up so they could meet the players. And they kind of told us, like, hey, they're going to come out this door, but the rest is up to you. Like they're not mandated to come take a picture or sign up or whatever. And all the players, really, I'm obviously highlighting Trae Young because that's my son Trey's favorite player. But, man, super, super accommodating to all the kids, man. Signed balls for them, took pics, asked them how they were doing, spent a little time with them. So I definitely, you hear horror stories about celebrities and athletes and dissing little kids and stuff like that. I want to publicly thank Trae Young for, just being incredible to the boys.
That's good.
And I didn't even use like the, I'm E.T.'s right hand stuff because I know him and E know each other. I know you know his father and stuff like that. I ain't have to be like, yo, what's up? I'm CJE because I know you don't know who I am. But, I just kind of let the boys do their thing, man. And all of the players, the Hawks' entire roster, let me say that. All of them signed the ball for the boys, took pictures, was super nice.
Amen.
So I want to say that, man, because we hear those horror stories. Yeah. But yeah, man. All right, we got a lot more to talk about, but I know we got things to do. We got to keep it moving. I know y'all got flights to catch and things of that nature. We're gonna keep going with this. Moose, tell them about the challenge. We're going with the challenge right now. It's not too late to sign up and join E and I, the first ever challenge that we doing. Let me tell you something. I told him. Listen, I got to get my shots up quick because let me tell you something. If you ever play with somebody who don't, now the opposite on the actual hoop court, he don't ever want to shoot.
Facts.
When you play on the actual hoop court,
okay,
he just want to pass and set picks. It's the greatest. Yeah. When you talk about speaking,
come to the mic.
He put it up from half court.
Get it?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, bro.
I'm putting up 50 attempts.
Oh, bro.
I don't care how many I hit. I'm putting up 50.
Hey, let me tell you something. So I do appreciate you letting me get, just my few free throws in before you go, Mamba mentality.
No, we had a call. We had a personal call with him.
Oh, yeah.
And I walked him through it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, see, let's understand.
Here's your spot. This is your spot.
When Moose,
I gave him the expectations, Moose.
When Moose said we was doing the challenge together, he called me and was like, okay, now, by together, we don't mean 50-50.
Did he start the call with now number 2? Listen to me, number 2.
Together don't mean 50. Don't just mean that you own.
You're going to be on the call.
So I said, hey,
and you can contribute, but it needs to be limited.
So, Moose, tell him about it, please.
Yeah, no, man. Thrive in 2025. It's going to be phenomenal. I mean, two incredible humans celebrating 20 years in business and have broken conventional wisdom in doing so, right?
Yeah.
So they have mixed families in terms of, bringing their families together, spiritual lives, really growing and being impacted as a result. Yeah, exactly. My point.
My wife is
on the weekend.
My wife
on the weekend.
Yeah, on the weekend.
I got that one little.
I don't know though. What is my wife throughout the week? Because she worked with E too, and I don't get so I get that throughout the week too.
And so I'm saying, everything that you have heard about how to do life, we have finally an example, a healthy example, and not a perfect example. example because you know you guys talked about some real stuff with so much more to uncover throughout the rest of this. That you two have a way so that you don't have to do it alone. And so that's what Thrive in 25 is about. It's a challenge for the entire month. Now here's the cool part: you get to do it behind E's guidance so that he can align you with God. Right? It's essentially biblical principles. You don't have to worry about like, man, I know this the worldly, but what up? No, it's coming from a guy who, you know, has been grounded in the word, is going to essentially lay out that system for you in that regard. And essentially for people who don't want to be on camera, you ain't even got to be on camera. You could, you know what I'm saying, just plug in, let the kiddos hear it in the morning, however you do it. And for an entire month.
How much?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Free.
It can't be moved.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
No, absolutely free, man. You can plug in with us literally for an entire 30 days for free.
Where do they go?
Thrive2025challenge.com.
Thrive2025challenge.com. Thrive2025challenge.com. Go sign up for free right now. We talking about some real stuff on there, some relationship stuff, some business stuff, some interpersonal stuff. Listen, man, this is the type of stuff
strategy
that, man, if you can get this part down, man, it's so crazy. Like everybody, you know, we were on the call the other day and I was just saying like, yo, if I look at everybody who blew up in our circle, like every single person, like this is the foundation. Like you have to have this. I've never seen it work without it. Like I've just never seen it work without it. And so this is the formula, man. And I appreciate you letting me, you know, get a couple shots.
Well, I'm just going to say this. If you want to hear CJ, get there on time. Don't come late. Like, don't run up in that joint 3 minutes late.
No.
4 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? You might not hear my man. You want to get there on time. Yeah, come on, get there early because I promise you. I told him, I said, see, I got a certain cadence. I got a speed. I can't have you throwing me off. So you come in the gym early, get your shots out.
Listen, I shout one shot and get out the way.
You get two. You get two if you miss one. You can try it again the second time.
I get an air one. Shout out to the Patreon family, as always, man. And shout out to Organifi, the superfood green juice powder, keeping this podcast powered up throughout our days. Organifi, ORGANIFI.com. Use the promo code SUCCESS, get 20% off. Appreciate y'all, man. B, it was good having you first time. White Mall, you know what I'm saying? Mall. Hey, listen, Mall. You better come back in shape.
Come on.
B is over there. I'm talking about, come on.
Yeah,
get a good Mall.
I'm not trying to be funny, Mall. It looked bigger because I know we sit next to each other. Maybe because he close.
No, it is.
I don't know, but it looked bigger, Mall. That's all I know.
Mall about to have 4 trainers by next week.
Motivation.
I don't know, Mall. Mall about to kill himself. About to kill himself.
Maul got a new hip
about to get 4. Maul about to get 4 trainers.
He already got a hip replacement.
How many trainers you got?
One.
Bicep replacement.
He only got 1 trainer himself? Oh, Maul. He only got his, that's it, Maul.
I want to see if Maul can do a sit and flip on that new hip. If he can do the robo hip flip, I'm going to be super impressed, man. Love y'all, man. Safe travels back to the crib. Appreciate y'all. As always, we out of here. We love you. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul, with all your heart.
Thank you so much for rocking with us as always, right? We don't take it lightly, guys. And we hope that we've provided transformation and not just information. We want you to become the best version of yourself. All right, make sure you check out the show notes to access all the important links and get your product discounts. Now, one favor we're asking of you, do us this favor. Make sure you subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We want to know your feedback on how we can serve you better. And if there's anyone that you think could benefit from listening to this show, please, I'm begging you, please share it with them. And remember, as E always says, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.